welcome to the first lesson of beautiful chord progressions with me, Fake Dr. Levin. In this series I'm going to show you 10 chord progressions that I believe are beautiful. I'm going to explain the concepts behind them, so hopefully you can get some new ideas for your songwriting and composition, or at the very least, some new chord progressions to try on your instrument. So this first example is a way of writing chord progressions that's very intuitive. It's just about moving structures around, and it doesn't really obey music theory, or it obeys music theory, but it doesn't use music theory as the foundation of how you go about writing the chord progression. It's more of an intuitive sort of experimental approach. Of course, I'm a big fan of music theory, and I'm a big fan of experimentation, and I like to use both. This is an example. It's more on the experimental end. What we're going to do is we're going to take a two-note chord, any two-note chord. We're going to take that structure, whatever the distance between the first note of the chord and the second note of the chord. Whatever that structure is, whatever that interval is, we're going to keep that the same, while we move it around, and in an experimental fashion we let ourselves assess the sound. Meanwhile, we have one tone that we hold either on top or below the moving chords that is going to remain the same. So we have this moving element and we have a static element. For example, this note, this E here, could be held statically over these moving chords. So you get something like this. And what you'll find is that some combinations are very consonant and some are very dissonant. Just a bunch of examples there. This one might have been considered dissonant, whereas this one might be considered very consonant. The thing is that all of the dissonant options can be made into great music if you treat them the right way. See, dissonance resolves very nicely to consonance. In fact, a lot of what makes music appeal to us emotionally is a good balance of consonance and dissonance. Tension and release, or release being the consonance and the tension being the dissonance. And so by creating some tension here and then releasing, we have some motion in our music. So here I'm going to demonstrate maybe some tense moments that seem funky resolving very nicely. And you kind of go with your ear and you decide, what do you like, what do you not like? And you can compose with this very intuitive method. So today I've got an example progression for you using this concept, and it sounds like this. Alright, it goes like this. And that's using these thirds, which is the name of this interval that I'm playing. It's using major thirds only. But you could do this same sort of concept with any interval set. Maybe you do a perfect fifth, these two notes, this distance here. And let's pick a different drone. How about this open G string here on my guitar? You can move those around. It's very simple, but you get a lot of great combinations. So here I'm going to show an improvisation that starts by using this concept with two-note voicings, and then I even expand to 3 notes and have the drone of the high E and the G at different times. But you'll see I'm going to improvise with this concept so you can see a lot of different examples of how such a thing could develop. recommend sitting down with your instrument and just watching your hands move as one note stays the same in one hand and another note's changing in the other if you're playing piano, or if you're doing a string instrument like guitar, or any chord instrument, whatever it is, you just move one structure around while the other stays the same. And it's just that simple, and you can come up with so much great stuff. So I hope that you find lots of uses for this. I hope that when you read the notated example that you get some cool ideas from it. And I recommend just slowly working your way through the example and then coming up with a little piece of your own. The best way to get these concepts to stick in your head and become useful is to try writing with them right away. So I hope that you've got some new music in your future, and good luck. See you in the next lesson.